Let's go. Likutei Moharan, Torah Chaf Aleph. We are holding by Seif Yud Aleph. So after we have explained that it is through calling out, screaming, crying to Shem Yisbarach, that a person brings the divine bounty from He'elam to Gilui in like a state of gestation and pregnancy, all the way out to Gilui. And when a person sanctifies the 7 candles, which is his mouth and his nose and his eyes and his ears, he merits that shefa, that bounty enters his mind. And from being a makif, a potential knowledge, it becomes an acquired knowledge, and he's aware of it. And that results with the heart burning constantly to Hashem Yisbarach. And the person is able to speak new dibur before Hashem, which is Ruach HaKodesh. These diburim are Ruach HaKodesh. They are divinely inspired diburim. Now, the Rebbe is going to explain that when a person is able to get out the Shefa Eloki from the state of pregnancy, of not yet pre-existence, to a makif, in other words, to a state of potential. You still don't know it, but it's attainable. It's a makif. Before it was unfathomable. B'chlal, it was like a baby that is, in the stomach of the womb of a mother that is having problem giving birth. Now it's a makif. And from makif, when a person gets the Shefa Eloki from Ibor, from pregnancy to makif, and from makif to pnimi, the person is zoche to the aspect of das. And das is the consolation of all the problems. This is the true nechama. And this Seif Yud Aleph, this is what it says, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Yomar Elokeichem. Be consoled, my nation, and Hashem will say. At the end of the Golus, Kadosh Baruch Hu will tell the Nevi'im to console Am Yisrael, because all their averos were already atoned, and their time to be redeemed has arrived. Because the Father is as follows. Kol hatzoros vayisurim v'agolos, all the suffering and all the torment that the people suffer is only commensurate or in direct relation to a lack of das. You don't know. Like that a child wants to play in the street, but there's a cars in the street, okay? But the child really wants to play in the street. No. So his parents prevent him from playing in the street. So that causes tsar, it causes suffering to the child. He suffers anguish. What gives him the anguish? What is actually the real cause of anguish for this child? The answer is his lack of das. Because he's a child, he's a silly child, what can you do? Ushenishlam das, and when the das is completed, azai nishlam kol hachesronos. When once das is completed, then all the deficiencies are being fulfilled. As Chazal said, in das kanita mechasarta, if you acquired knowledge, you don't lack anything. And it also says in the Navi, in Yeshayahu, Lachen gola ami bivli das. That's why my nation has gone on exile due to a lack of das. And it's not only that. It's not just the das that it completes to a person all his sensation of lacking and everything that he lacks, but also Iker HaChaim HaNitzchim, the main eternal life, will be in the future lost of Nechmas HaDas, because of the das. She'ir B'Hadas, once the knowledge increases to that point, Shedu HaKol Es Hashem, that everybody will know Hashem, Al Dei Hadas Yuchlelu B'Achdusei. It is through that knowledge that people will be included in Hashem's singularity. V'az yichyu chayim nitzchim kamau. And then people will live eternal life like Hashem. Because it is through knowing Hashem that you are included in Him. I think the Rambam says that. Ilu yidativ aisiv. If I were to know Him, I would be Him. Because a person can only capture in his mind something which is like Him in its nature and its essence. That's why people can only imagine things that they have experienced. If you notice, when people, in all the movies they make about alien creatures, so they're either humanoids or insectoids or fish-like or some kind of or rock-like, that combination of the. But you cannot imagine anything which is outside your realm of experience. The same thing is over here. A person can only grasp something that resembles him in his nature and in his essence. And the main knowledge will be in the future. As it is said about the future, because the land is filled with knowledge of Hashem. And because of that knowledge, they won't lack anything. And everything will be just total and absolute goodness. What today Hashem is not one. He says, in that day, Hashem will be one and His name will be one. So Allah said, what? And now He's not one. This is why we say this. So the Tersu, he says, in this world, for good tidings, for good news, a person says a Tova Meitim. In the future, a Tova Meitim, in bad news, Lo Aleinu, Lo Aleichem, a person says Baruch Emes. But however, in the future, Kula Tova Meitim, it is all a Tova Meitim. It's all. And Rashi says, She'en Sham Soiro, there's no bad tidings, there's no bad news. Va'afilu ha'akom, even the Goyim, Yedu B'Yisrael Hadas, they will also experience, the addition of the Das, the quantum leap of the Das. Avalo kamonu, but not the same way as we do. And what will they know? Ve'edu sha'gdula sha'ya lahem, that greatness, that supremacy that they had, ve'ashiflo sha'ya lanu b'zman hagolus, and the lowliness that we had throughout the exile. Kol zois hagdula haya lanu, all this supremacy, all this greatness actually was ours. It is not possible to understand that. It is not possible to deny what you see, right? Nevertheless, the knowledge and the comprehension will increase to such extent. And everybody understands, including the Goyim, that the greatness of the Goyim, it was all that time we had the greatness and they had the lowliness. Now the Rebbe says, so this is a great comprehension. We're not talking about that they will, through a belief, will come to that conclusion. They will know it. They will know it like the 2 plus 2 is 4. So it wasn't a question of faith. But still, this knowledge would be a laughing matter when compared to the level of awareness that we will achieve. This is what it says in Tehillim. At that time, our mouths will be filled with laughter. As Yomu Bagoyim, and then they will say in the nations, Higdil Hashem Lasos Imela, Higdil Hashem Lasos Imanu. Hashem has done great things with those. Higdil Hashem Lasos Imanu. And what's alluded to in this pasuk is that the Goyim will know that the greatness that Hashem did with us. In other words, the Goyim will say the greatness Hashem did with us, with them, with the Goyim. In truth, in reality, is Hashem did with those. Agdula Azois Sayal Yisrael. It was actually the Gdula of the Yidden. And even though this is really a great level of understanding, nevertheless, our mouth will be filled with laughter. It will be a laughter, their knowledge and their attention and whatever they attain. What we will be able to attain at that time will be infinitely greater. Now, in the Yetir, יש בה מקיף ומקיף למקיף. As we said before, this is like the waves of the sea as they come, one after the other. Every wave has one behind them. Every makif, with every future knowing, has another knowledge that will follow it afterwards. This is makif and makif and makif. Because when the moichin, when the knowledge, this side, because this is where the lens is. When the moichin are in the state of ibor, of gestation, this is called makif lemakif. A surrounder to a surrounder. That's all. And this through the crying out, you bring about the moichin, and instead of being makif lemakif, it becomes just one makif. And afterwards, through the kedusha of the 7 candles, you bring it all the way down to Pnimi, as we said before. On the pasuk be'alos chesaneres. You know, when you light up the candles. Vezeo, and this is what is being alluded to, but nachamu, nachamu. Console, console my nations twice. Hainu makif, umakif lamakif. It's one consolation from makif lamakif to a state of a single makif, and one from makif to pnimi. Shayidia yaikar nechoma shel hatzaros. The knowledge is the main consolation of the trouble, of suffering. And we say like if a person, you know, will come to you with a pin and want to stick you, you'll be very upset. And what are you doing? I mean, what, you're out of your mind. But if you go to a doctor, you have to take a blood sample, whatever it is, you give your arm, with no problem. So what's the difference? Over here, you freaked out. Somebody, pricked you with a little needle, and over here, by yourself, you give your arm. You don't make a big spritz out of it. What's the difference? It means you know the reason. So the knowledge is the thing that does away with the suffering. Is the nechama. When you give birth to the knowledge of the moichin, the mentality, from makif de makif into makif, this is already a bechina of nechama. That's one nechama. It's attainable. Because even though you don't know it yet, because it's a makif, but there's already a sense of this new idea. You know a little bit. There are some chidushim. There's some things that you can actually understand from that. Because the sechel apnimi receives its chayes from the makif. The makif is the source of chayes for the sechel apnimi. So, and afterwards, when you are zoche to pull the makif in, this is called a full, complete knowing. This is the shleimus of the nechama, of the consolation. That's a total nechama. And how can you come to that level of knowing? This is said at the end of this pasuk. Nachamu, nachamu ami, yoyma elokeichem. Yoyma elokeichem. Each word here comes to tell you a different piece of knowledge. Amira, the saying, is bechashai. This is something which is done quietly. This Amira bechashai, it says in the Zohar, this alludes to the bechina of oil, which is silent. When you pour oil, it makes no noise. But when you pour wine, it's like, makes noise, right? So the Gemara says that Pashas meaning, yain la'al makoilo. Yain, wine, is to raise a voice. The wine raises voice, makes noise. V'shema bechashay, and oil is silent. So the oil, the amira, which is bechashai, amira, which is a soft, it says, Ko tomar b'bes Yaakov, takir b'nei Yisrael. When Moshe Rabbeinu was ordered by HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give a certain order to Am Yisrael, and he says, Ko tomar b'bes Yaakov, this is what you will tell the women. V'tagid b'nei Yisrael, and you will tell the people of Israel. Rashi says, Amira is Amira Raka. It's a soft saying. It's b'chashai. It's gentle. So the women, you'd say gently. And Tagid is Dvorim HaKoshim Kagid. These are words that are as hard as tendons. Tendon is a very, very durable and hard thing. Amir b'chashai, as Isaiah says. And Amir b'chashai alludes to Shemen. Shemen alludes to B'chinas Shivas Haneros, the 7 candles that were, of course, in oil. Elokim, the word Elokim, however, alludes to La'al Makola, to raise the voice. B'chinas, it says Elokim al Domilach. Elokim, don't remain quiet. So the Elokim is not quiet, and Amira, Yoimar, is quietly. Elokim is not quiet, is loud. In other words, don't be silent to take revenge of our enemies. This is tzaka, this is crime. So in this particular pasuk it says that the calling out, the shouting, is a b'china of Elokim, and this it alludes to the calling out of the Yoledis, the woman who is giving birth. That with this you bring the moichin from Ibur to Makif. This is through loudness, and once the moichin are in the level of Makif, you bring them in through Shiva Saneris, which is Shemen, which is quietly. Yomer Elokeichem, Shemen, Yain, quietly and loud. The loud is from Makif LaMakif to one Makif.
Makif to another Makif.
2 Makifs to a Makif, from pregnancy to birth. And the Shemen, which is a euphemism to the 7 candles, this to bring them in. This bringing them. Siman Kaf until here is the Shon Rabbeinu. Now Reb Nosson explains this a little bit further. Pirush Knevor it says above. So that's it is through calling out loud. You're giving birth to the Moichin from being unfathomable. And by the fact that you sanctify the 7 candles, you are able to bring the Makifin inside and have full attainable knowledge. You need 2 things in order to attain the holy das. In the beginning, first of all, the Moichin have to be born, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes the mentality and the mind is still there. And for this you need crying out loudly to bring it to, so they should pass through the process of birth. And afterwards, when the Moichin are already born, still that brain has these two levels of Pnimi and Makif, the inner and the outer Asaga. For this you have to sanctify the 7 candles. In order to bring the Makifin and the Shefa Eloki, to bring it in. And to do that which is a potential knowledge, to make it an acquired knowledge. Just look deeply into this and you'll understand. This is what the Pasuk says. Nachamu, nachamu. In other words, Liskus la'asagas ha'makifin. Hayin asagas hadas. To be able to attain the makifin and to attain the das, shezeu ikar hanachoma. This is the main consolation. This you get through these two aspects. Shema tza'aka, that's crying out loud. This gives birth to the makifin. And the sanctification of the 7 candles, of the ears, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. With this you bring the makifin inside. Which is shemen shu bechashai. He said, Yomar Alekechem, and this is the two things. Yoimo, the word Yoimo, Aino Pchinas Hamira bechashai, right?
Yeah.
שזה שמן, שהוא בחשאי. It says in the Zohar, יין זה הר מקול, אבל שמן בחשאי. Wine is, a loud voice when you pour it, and oil pours silently. So Hashem and Ubchina Shebes Haneres, the Shemen comes to signify the 7 candles, because 7 candles in the candelabra were, of oil. Elokecha is the Bchinas Elokim. Elokecha is Elokim. Elokim is the Ar Makola. This is crying loudly. These two aspects, Elu Zoichin La'asogas HaMakifin. With this you attain the Makifin. Sh'Asogas HaDas HaKodesh. This is the attainment of the Holy Das. She's Iker HaNachoma. This is the main Nachoma, Nachoma. B'chinas Nachamu, Nachamu. Be consoled, be consoled. Hainu Makif, and Makif L'Makif Kanan. We'll continue tomorrow.